Welcome to Rithmetic with Ron. When you're working with fractions, sometimes we write them as improper. Sometimes we write them as mixed numbers. How do you convert back and forth? I'm going to show you in today's video. Let's go ahead and write a mixed number on the board. How about 5 and 2/3? Now remember that a mixed number has a whole part and it has a fraction part, and they're mixed together. If I want to convert that to an improper fraction, I first have to remember, what does improper fraction mean? An improper fraction is a fraction where the numerator is bigger than the denominator. And it doesn't matter what these numbers are, as long as the numerator is bigger than the denominator, you have an improper fraction. And it means that the fraction has a value that is bigger than 1. If the numerator is bigger than the denominator, the fraction will have a value more than 1. Okay? So, how do we do this? There's a quick method that I'll show you at the end, but for right now, let's talk about what we're actually trying to do. See how I have a denominator of 3 in my fraction part? Let's keep that 3, and let's look at the fact that a mixed number can be written like this: 5 plus 2/3. And let's also talk about the fact that a whole number can be rewritten as a fraction. Okay? If we take the number 5, we can say 5/1. Okay? But if we do that, we can also take 5 and we can rewrite it as a fraction that has the same denominator as the fraction portion. So what I want to do is I want to rewrite 5 as a fraction that has 3 for a denominator. So I'm going to take 5/1, I'm going to multiply it by something, a special 1, that gives me a new denominator of 3. Well, what would you multiply by 1 to get 3? That's right, you would get 3. 1 times 3 is 3. If my special 1 has a denominator of 3, it must also have a numerator of 3. And 5 times 3 is 15. This fraction right here, 15/3, is improper because the numerator is larger and it has a value bigger than 1. In fact, it has a value of 5. I'm going to replace the 5 over here with my newly found improper fraction of 15/3. 15/3 plus 2/3, well, I'm adding two fractions that have the same denominator. So I'm going to keep that denominator, and I can add the numerators. 15 plus 2 is 17. So 17/3 is the improper form of 5 and 2/3. Go ahead and take a calculator, type in 2 divided by 3, you'll get a decimal. And then you can add 5, and you should get 5.6 repeating. Maybe it'll end in a 7, something like that. Take a calculator and type in 17 divided by 3, and you should get that same decimal value. So these are equivalent, meaning they have the same calculator value, but they're written in a different form. Mixed number, improper fraction. This is mixed because I have a whole part and a fraction part. This is improper because the numerator is larger than the denominator. Now, how do we go the other direction? What if I have a new problem where I have 10/3 and I want to convert that into a mixed number? This is improper because the numerator is bigger than the denominator, so it has a value greater than 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 10/3 and I'm going to rewrite it as 3/3 plus 3/3. See what I'm doing? I'm using the rule of adding fractions that have a common denominator, but I'm doing it in reverse. As long as I keep my denominator of 3, I can add or subtract whatever I want in the numerators. But what do I want to get to? I want to get to 10. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 more is 9, plus 1 more is equal to 10. So my numerators add to 10, and my denominators are all 3, so I can legally do this. Now you might say, why did you pick the number 3, Ron? And the answer is because since my denominator is 3, if I choose 3 as a numerator, then this fraction has a value of 1. Plus, well, this one has a value of 1, and so does this. Plus, we'll bring along that 1/3 at the end. 1, 2, 3, my whole number is 3, and we add that 1/3 at the end, and 3 1/3 is the mixed form of the improper fraction 10/3. Now I told you at the beginning that I would show you a quick way to turn a mixed number into an improper fraction. And the way to do that, let's use a different example. Well, let's use the same example. 5 2/3. And the quick way to do that is to take the whole part, multiply it by the denominator, and then after that, add the numerator. 5 times 3 is 15. 15. Plus 2 is 17. 17 what? 17/3. You can almost think about this like a clock going backwards. If you start here and go around the horn, 5 times 3 plus 2. Multiply here and add here. 5 times 3 plus 2. And you want to make sure that you keep the same denominator that you started with. Let's look at one more example up here in the corner. If I have 4 1/7, and I want to convert that into an improper fraction, let's use that same rule, and we'll take the whole number, 4. We're going to multiply by the denominator, 7. We're going to add the numerator, 1. 4 times 7 is, that's right, 28. Add one more, and you get 29. 29 what? Sevenths. Whatever you start with as a denominator, you will keep as a denominator. So today, we saw how to convert between a mixed number and an improper fraction. Thanks for watching the video. Go ahead and hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time.